the Dream for All down payment assistance program is kind of a big deal. It was announced by essentially the state of California through CalHFA, which is the agency that basically distributes down payment funds for the state, that they're going to be giving 20% of the purchase price to families to buy their home, which means if you have no money of your own, you'll be able to come in with about 15% towards your down payment. The other 5% can be used towards closing costs. And that's a lot of money. That's a substantial reduction in payment as opposed to 3 or 5% down, which is what most people do when they're a first-time home buyer. So the last program CalHFA offered, they gave you 10% to use towards the purchase price of your home. And so that meant about 7 to 8% went to the down payment and the rest of it went to closing costs. And those funds ran out fairly quickly. Maybe they lasted 6 months, if that. But what happened is the end snuck up on people. So people who were qualified and ready, they started looking for homes. And then before you know it, they were dilly-dallying. And then the program came to a screeching halt. They gave us a couple weeks notice, I feel like. So they said, hey, we're running out of funds. The last loan's probably going to fund at the end of November. And then it was done. Nobody had time at that point to go get into contract, do their loan, and get it finished. So it's super important to get talking to us now so that we can make sure, number one, you're even interested. Number two, that you understand how it works. We can make sure you have a real estate agent, you know your purchase price that gives you a payment that you want. And then you're looking the moment you're able to in the target price range that you should be shopping for. And that you have a real estate agent you've already talked with, who you've interviewed, you know is going to work, and they're out there looking for you right away. So the last program that they offered, the 10% down one, that one had pretty low income restrictions. You had to make under a certain amount of money to even qualify for the loan. And what was really hard for us in this area is that based on home prices, it was really difficult for somebody to make under the amount that they had to and still qualify for the house payment and have a couple other bills in their life, so it was really difficult to fit people in that box. So on this program, getting that larger amount, let's go back to the standard CalHFA program gives you the very basic minimum required down payment assistance. On a conventional loan, they'll give you 3% down, and on an FHA loan, that's 3.5% down. That means your buying power is reduced because you have your income level that you have to qualify for the program. They're only giving you the bare minimum required to satisfy the loan program to get into the house. So it restricts your purchase price, right? With this program at giving you 20%, which essentially is, let's say, 15% down, your buying power goes up substantially. So your income levels have been raised, so more people qualify, but also because you're putting so much down, you can handle a higher purchase price because your loan amount will be lower. We qualify you based on the loan amount. So that is going to be helpful, I think, to a lot of people, especially in the Sacramento Valley and a lot of parts of California that did not get any help from the last program. All right, paying back the loan program. They do expect you to repay it. It is not a grant. It's not free money. You do have to pay it back eventually, and here's how it works. So number one, you pay back the actual money that you borrowed. So that 20%, whatever that total is, has to be paid back. And number two, they have built in what's called an equity share. So when you sell your home, the net equity that you have in the home, they are going to take 20% of that. And that is meant to help sustain the program for families to come. So they keep building the program back up so that they can help more families. An example is if you bought a $500,000 house, you took $100,000 for your down payment and closing costs. Now when you go to sell the house, and it can be, there's no time that you have to stay in the house. So let's say you sold it in 10 years. In 10 years, if you had a house that was worth at that point $640,000, which is the math if you add appreciation through the years, you would owe them the original loan, the $100,000 plus $28,000 in equity share. Now, you don't have to stay in the home 10 years. You can sell it a year later. Let's say your husband or the wife, you get transferred in your job. You've only been in the house a year. That's okay. There's no time restriction or time limit. So you sell your house, you pay back what you took in the down payment assistance, and then let's say your net equity at that point, because you'd been in it just a short time, was $10,000. So they're going to take 20% of the $10,000 plus return of the money that you borrowed when you did your down payment. So right now, as this program rolls out, I personally think the timing is fantastic. So we have inventory in the market that is now sometimes sitting a little bit longer. You have sellers that are very willing to help get you into contract. So you come with down payment assistance. Last 3 years, people with down payment. So right now, as this program is getting ready to roll out, the timing could not be better. You have sellers that need to sell their houses, and they're sitting on the market a little longer than they have in the past. They're not used to their house just sitting there for 30 days, but that's what's going on. So they're anxious to take offers that are good. Now you have 20% down being handed to you essentially so that you can buy your first house. Most people don't even come to the table with 20%, but now you have an offer where you can come to the table with 20%, 15 to 20%. I think this is going to be perfect. The inventory sitting there, you have the down payment. It's the perfect time to get your first house right now. So the last kind of big down payment assistance loan that Callahaffa did, the equity builder loan, 10% down, less people qualified, and the funds ran out really quick. This is a loan now where more people qualify because they've raised the income limits and they're giving you 20%. So the time is now. We're building our interest list. You need to reach out if you're interested. Click the link above so that we can reach out to you. We can pre-qualify you. We can narrow down what payment you want, what your purchase price should be. We'll make sure you have a real estate agent if you don't already have one, so that the moment they pull the trigger on using these funds, you're one of the first people out, because we have no idea how long the funds will last.